Hello, everybody. We're here in Serbia and Croatia, in Novi Sad and Zagreb. Say hello to Davor Trkulja from Serbian Embassy in Zagreb. This is the first issue, the first show of Diplomacy Talks in Diplomacy&Commerce Croatia. Hello, Davor.
Hello to everybody from Serbian Embassy in Zagreb.
Well, let's start some questions. Some interesting things happened during the last couple of days, but we'll start with the less recent news about the catastrophe, about a disaster in Croatia. The first question should be, relations between Serbia and Croatia always become almost the best possible when a catastrophe happens. When there were floods in 2014 and an earthquake now. Can we find out something cleverer, some way not to be good only when disaster happens and without to be good without common misfortunes?
Yes. So Žikica, I can say after I spent practically 5 years in Croatia, so I can really say that sometimes I have a feeling that two countries, Republic of Serbia and Republic of Croatia, that we are trapped deeply in the past. So I can really say that I think that we should look further and to look in the future. So that will be the best way how to improve our bilateral relations. Relating to our bilateral relations between the two countries, so I can say that Republic of Serbia is undoubtedly committed to establish better and more meaningful relations with the Republic of Croatia. The Republic of Croatia, which includes relaxation as well as building better bilateral relations. Natural and other disasters show the readiness of the state to help to each other in the situation when it's the most difficult. Certainly are the reason for the optimism. So after, as you know very well, after the devastating earthquake that hit Banija on Sisačko-moslavačka županija, at the end of the last year, state aid of the government of the Republic of Serbia and provincial government of the Vojvodina, city of Belgrade, also embassy of Republic of Serbia in Zagreb, and so as well as humanitarian aid from the Serbian Chamber of Commerce, also a lot of companies and businessmen, humanitarian organization, and citizens association. So artists and numerous citizens of the Republic of Serbia, as well as organization and individuals, also responded to the humanitarian actions. Immediately after the earthquake, the government of the Republic of Serbia made decision to send a donation in the amount of 1 million euros. Also, the city of Belgrade donated 100,000 euros to the Serbian Orthodox Church in Croatia, and for the purchase of housing containers, also the provincial government of Vojvodina paid financial aid in the amount of 50,000 euros. And announced delivery and for the construction materials as a much higher value. Also, I have noticed, also I have to point it out, that the Embassy of Republic of Serbia in Zagreb, with the help of the donors, was our businessman Milan Popović, also provided 100,000 euros for the purchase of 25 housing containers. And also our general consulate in Vukovar secured 2 containers. So we think that with their donation in the amount of 50,000 euros, also the Chamber of Commerce announced 8 Serbian companies and businesses to earthquake victims. Many Serbian companies with regional operation responded to the call for help. Regional cooperation as MK Group also deposited a sum of 70,000 euro and sent goods in the value of 40,000 euro to help all the residents of Banija. Also, Elixir Group from Serbia and the Telecom Serbia each deposited 40,000 euro, while other companies and businessmen like the Tiger Shoe companies plant from Pirot donated building materials also and other necessary products or enabled procurement on extremely affordable prices. A significant number of citizens of the Republic of Serbia not only showed compassion and solidarity with the affected population at the Sisak Moslavina County, but they also got actively involved in the campaign for collecting humanitarian aid and paying financial resources to help those who need it the most. Serbian Red Cross, also in cooperation with the Croatian Red Cross, recently delivered humanitarian aid that consisted of equipment for temporary accommodation of at least 25 persons, which included delivery of prefabricated houses, folding beds, and so on. Also, thanks to the solidarity of the large number of individuals and legal entities, Caritas Serbia gathered significant funds which they paid to Croatian Caritas. Among the first to help the people with the special needs in the endangered area were civil societies and organizations from Serbia, Association of Persons with Disabilities, Association of Pensioners, and other associations such as the Hometown Association that continued to organize the collection of aid for the vulnerable population. As a part of the humanitarian campaign of the Serbian National Council, Banja is Our House, and the Serbian Orthodox Church in the Republic of Croatia, the dioceses of Upper Karlovac and Zagreb Ljubljana, funds are being paid into multi-currency accounts opened in the Republic of Croatia, which are published in the Serbia with appeal for humanitarian aid, including on the public service and television RTS. Among the many selfless examples of help, we should mention the initiative of artists from Serbia who organize a humanitarian campaign. Artists from Serbia for Glina, Petrinja and Sisak, painters and photographers helping people affected by the earthquake in Croatia. In Belgrade, in cooperation with the Embassy of the Republic of Croatia and Diplomacy&Commerce magazine, the sale of paintings and photographs by the renowned authors raised significant funds.
It was an extensive answer that covered actually my second question. What was the help of the Republic of Serbia to Croatia during the earthquake? So we're moving straight to the third question, which is how do you assess the economic relations between the two countries now? Is it better?
Yes, definitely, it's a better. We must have in mind definitely that now we have problems all the world practically. We have problems with the COVID-19, with pandemic, but I can say freely that economic relations between Serbia and Croatia, which are based on bilateral agreements on trade and economic cooperation, have been going on continuously since 1998. Since 2013, since the accession of the Republic of Croatia to full European Union membership, trade between the two countries has taken place according to the Stabilization Association Agreement signed between the Republic of Serbia and the EU in 2008. When it comes to trade between the two countries, it has been continuously growing from 481 million euros, which is how much it was in 2009. In 2019, it reached over the 1 billion euros, which is an increase by 1.5 compared to the 2018. Serbia's exports to Croatia in 2019 amounted to the 567.8 million euros, which is 0.6 less than in 2018. Imports from Croatia were higher by 4% compared to the 2018 and amounting to 509 18.4 million euros. The surplus, very interesting fact, in trade amounting to the 49.4 million euros. The growth of exports and imports is mostly influenced by the processing industry. So I will give you some facts that in 2019, 475 domestic business entities conducted foreign trade with the Republic of Croatia. There are more than 1,000 active business entities operating in Serbia, the majority owners of which are legal and or natural persons from the Republic of Croatia. The most significant exporters from Serbia to Croatia are Serbian Digin copper from Bor, NIS, Nafta Industrija Srbije, Petroleum Industry of Serbia from Novi Sad, HBIS Group, Serbia Iron and Steel, Smederevo Iron Works, so HIP Petrochemia from Pančevo, Adriana Tex from Ruma, Elixir Zorka, Šabac, Mineralna đubriva from Šabac, Victoria Oil from Šid, Gorenje from Valjevo, automobile industry from Mladenovac and others. So also importers to Serbia from Croatia are the Star Import, Kimtech, Belgrade, Nexe Beton Group, MD International Belgrade, so Podravka Belgrade, Zagreb Trans, Vindija, Lajkovac, Atlantic Brands, Belgrade, Lidl Serbia, and so on. So promising sectors for cooperation between the Republic of Serbia and the Republic of Croatia are clothing products and clothing accessories, rubber and rubber products, so boilers, plastics and products thereof, furniture, electrical machinery and equipment and parts thereof, the paper and the cardboard, and definitely copper products. So during 2020, which was marked by the economic crisis caused by the coronavirus or pandemic of coronavirus, Serbia posted to 1.4 drop in total foreign exchange compared to the same period to the year before, where Croatia is still among the countries with where Serbia has a surplus in exchange. So
great results. Now a little bit about minorities, the factor that was pretty shaky and fiery during the last 30 years. There is always bridges of cooperation in states that are cured of the idea that they are one disruptive factor. Currently, Croatia and Serbia are experiencing the renaissance with the renovation of Banja Lucic House and similar actions. How do Serbs cope in Croatia nowadays?
So Serbs in Croatia these days are faced with many challenges. So challenges like a hate speech, challenges like a discrimination, inability to use the Serbian language and script, underrepresentation in civil services and institutions in accordance with a percentage representation. But on the other hand, political representatives of Serbs in Croatia are in the coalition partners of the government of Croatia, and their actual Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, which opens up to opportunities for them to actively fight and advocate for their status and position in Croatian society. Let me remind you that Boris Milošević, former, he was one of the deputies in SDSS, one of the leading Serbian party in Croatia, has been appointed as a deputy prime minister of Croatian government in charge of social activities and human rights. The other side, Republic of Serbia, is demonstrating concrete readiness, as it has done so far, to help Serbs in Croatia in a constructive and positive way by promoting exactly the principle that you yourself stated, and it is the minorities are the bridges of cooperation between the two countries. This is the approach which is very, very important.
I certainly do agree. And now a little bit about tourism. The Serbian tourists rediscovered the Adriatic once again. Can we expect the expansion of tourist visits to the rest of Croatia? Nowadays, we have pretty much Istria and the islands and Dubrovnik that are the most visited parts, but the central Adriatic is not. Can we expand the interest of Serbs to Croatia and interest of Croats to visit Serbia? Because there are lots of places, for example, the aforementioned house of Ban Josip Jelačić in Petrovaradin. There are lots of places that are significant for Croatian culture in Serbia. And there are PCR tests and pandemics and vaccines and everything else. How do you assess the chances in tourism in 2021? Because tourism is perhaps the best way to get to know each other.
First of all, I will give you the concrete facts about the touristical cooperation between two countries. I would like to say that the Croats, the many Croats, especially for the younger generation, more or less they know for the Novi Sad there is a very popular destination. If we're talking about
the exit festivals too, yeah?
Also so many Croats. So we have so many interesting facts about that. They're calling us every time before the exit and asking about the program and activities. And what is the most important, that they have very good feelings about that. Also, in the last couple of years, I can say that Belgrade is very popular among the Croats, and so many young Croats, especially young Croats, they're traveling to Belgrade. They like to enjoy especially nightlife and the foods and everything. So I think I'm very optimistic, and I think that after the pandemic, when we finally finish with this pandemic, so the tourism will arise again. So I will give you some facts about our touristical cooperation. So after a record-breaking 2019, when the number of arrivals and overnight stays of foreign guests in Serbia was higher by more than 8% compared to the 2018, when it comes to tourism year 2020, was remembered as very challenging and difficult. According to available information from the Touristic Organization of Serbia, there were more than 50 fewer tourists in 2020, which mostly refers to foreign tourists. The highest number of overnight stay of foreign tourists was recorded in Belgrade and, as I said, Novi Sad, during traditional popular winter months in Kopaonik and Zlatibor as well. Serbia can boast a large number of natural attractions, historic and cultural monuments, ethno-villages and spas, famous Serbian spas in which fans of the traditional gastronomy are showing increasingly more interest. And increasingly, number of foreign tourists visit less researched and well-known destinations, such as the special nature reserve in the canyon of the river Uvac, the Devil's Town, and the Golubac Fortress on the Danube, and so on. So regarding the cooperation of the field of tourism, Republic of Serbia and Republic of Croatia are cooperating on the project titled Cultural Tourist Road, the Road of Roman Emperors, in connection with which a memorandum of understanding was signed in 2012. Also, Serbia, Croatia, Turkey, and Slovenia signed the cooperation agreement for the Balkan Spa Institute. Was formed aside from the above. Cooperation also takes place within the Coordination Center, Association of Tourism Promotion Agency and Business of PR China and the countries of Central Europe, shared in Budapest. When it comes to specific data, in 2018, Republic of Croatia ranked 4th with the number of tourist arrivals in Serbia and the number of overnight stays. During 2018, the number of arrivals from Croatia to Serbia was 53, and the number of overnight stays more than 170,000, which is an increase of more than 50% compared to the data from 2017.
It's something that we can be really proud of, should I say, especially when we talk about the visits of the Croats to Serbia, because usually the people tend not to go too much to the east. Even the Serbs rather go to the Western countries than to Bulgaria or Albania or Romania. So it's always great to see the people are exploring cheaper, less known, less popular destinations, as Serbia is for the Croats and Croatians in general. So one of the things that have shaken the world of Southeast Europe recently was the death of Đorđe Balašević, arguably the most famous singer and author of music in this part of the world. We've seen scenes that were unimaginable. For example, Croats writing in Cyrillic letters in Ilica, the word Bećarac, as an homage to Đorđe Balašević's song. And how did this sad news echo in Croatia during the last couple of days?
So I can say for me personally, it was the tragic event. So I can freely say, the fan of Đorđe Balašević, like many other people in Serbia, also in Croatia. And the people in Croatia also, they were shocked by the death of Đorđe Balašević. So they call him Jole, was very popular. Practically, he was an icon of Serbian music, and he was very famous to the Croatians as a singer, as a writer, as a poet. So I was very surprised. Not so much, but so many people when they found that he passed away, practically they went to the streets and the squares and start to singing Balašević songs, and it was very special atmosphere. So I can say that the music and the works of Đorđe Balašević practically unite not all the people in the region. So I can say that his death was very, very, how to say, not only significant, but he was always deeply in the heart of the people, the region, including the Croatian.
Yes. Last night we had a ceremony here in Novi Sad, and I've seen lots of towns and cities, even in Croatia, Pula, Osijek, not only Zagreb, remembering Đorđe Balašević, and that was really a magnificent thing to see during the last couple of days. Another thing that was really interesting and important was that the ex-bishop of Zagreb and Ljubljana, Porfirije, who resided in Zagreb, has become the new patriarch of Serbian Orthodox Church. So he usually says that Croatia is his second country, that he has very ecumenical views towards Catholic Church and Croatia. And we think that he, having in mind that he was serving in Croatia for a lot of time, could be a bridge between the two countries and two nations. How do you assess the choice of the new patriarch that was coming from Zagreb?
So as we see from the Croatian media, and I can say that our new patriarch Porfirije was very welcomed by the Croats.
Yes, I've seen that in many press articles.
Yes, it was visible, and I would remind you that he was enthroned as the Metropolitan of Zagreb and Ljubljana on 30 July of 2040 in the Cathedral Church of the Transfiguration of the Lord in Zagreb, and Patriarch Porphyry he was one of the most prominent contemporary Serbian clergymen and intellectuals, and he had in Croatia extremely wide circle of friends, not only in a homeland of Serbia, and he fostered personal friendship and close cooperation with priests and representatives of other churches and religious communities, especially here in Croatia and in Slovenia. So my personal thing that his appointment or nomination as a Serbian patriarch is very welcome in Croatia, and mostly people they see these facts as a bridge for the next cooperation and understanding between two nations and the two churches.
Yes, it's a very good news. It was the second good news after the solidarity and love shown for George Milošević. Now, this unison cheerfulness about the choice of Porphyria to the throne of the new Serbian patriarch, that's very encouraging, actually. And I would like to ask you now about the help that Serbia and Croatia can give each other. Croatia has already given Serbia all the translations of the documents in the accession process to Croatian language, so it's pretty much the same as in Serbian. It requires a little bit of redaction, but that's a good thing. And how do we assess the help, the experiences of Croatian road to the European Union that ended up in 2013 with the full accession and full membership? And the other thing is how Serbia, for example, can help Croatia when we talk about a vaccination process, because Serbia is unusually and surprisingly one of the best countries in the world, sixth or fifth now in the world in the vaccination process. So how can we help each other with the adoption of new laws and good practice from European Union, and how can we, for example, help with the vaccines?
First of all, I would like to talk about the vaccination program, which is this is the issue which is very popular in Croatia at the moment, because in the previous days they had a problem with to find the new vaccines and to get vaccines. So I would like to point out the first what we have done in Serbia. So Serbia has been vaccinating its population to fight against COVID-19 for over a month already. The mass vaccination began on January 19. Immunization is being carried out according to the operational plan and priority groups, and the objective is to complete the vaccination of those over 75 years old and over 65 years with associated illness for the part of the most endangered groups as soon as possible. Among the first to be vaccinated were medical staff. Then the immunization of residents of gerontology centers began. And the vaccine was received by members of the Ministry of Interior Affairs, the Serbian Army, and the other security services. After that, the immunization of media representatives, education workers, and artists. Also, many categories of the population. The average age of those immunized is 65.4 years, while the percentage in the large cities is slightly lower, between 62.8 and 63 years of age. The digitalization of the public services contributes to success of the immunization process, where an IT system that enables real-time monitoring of the situation of the field, including local governments and checkpoints, was designed. The citizen could apply via e-Uprava or by phone by calling a call center, after which they receive messages about the date of vaccination. In Serbia, citizens can choose the vaccine they want to receive, and 3 vaccines are available: Pfizer, China Sinopharm, Russia Sputnik 5, and finally AstraZeneca.
Tomorrow I'm going to to receive my first dose of
vaccine.
AstraZeneca. Yeah.
So lucky you. So we don't have this opportunity in Croatia, but we are still waiting the good news. You know, we expected to in Croatia to get much more vaccine and also to have a chance for us in the embassy to get vaccine.
It was really funny when Zoran Milanovic said that he was a witty guy many times, but now he said he would buy vaccines even from Chechen mafia because he can't wait any longer for the manufacturing and all these difficulties that were not actually the best PR for the European Union. It turned out that the countries outside the European Union were better in vaccination, like the UK, of course, Israel, Serbia, Norway, Switzerland, even Faroe Islands are better in vaccination process than Denmark, which is actually the mother country. So it was really strange. We hope that European Union will get a grip on themselves and continue with this process. And one question that interests me and the tourists, that could be our last question, is about the COVID passports. Do you think that it will be some kind of QR code on the mobile telephone, or something like I don't know, a paper when you have written down in English, or I don't know what, or some kind of yellow card that you get from the World Health Organization when you get yellow fever vaccine when you go to Africa or South America or wherever it's needed. How do you think that this summer spring and summer will pass in terms of COVID passports? And that's what interests many people.
To be honest, I'm not the expert in that field, but when I found in the media, you know, that they're thinking about inventing the new, how to say, technologies and some new types of documents. But I'm not sure, you know, maybe it could be a way, maybe how to avoid complications with the pandemic, but on the other side, it could be very difficult, you know, aside from the human rights and so on. So it will be, how to say, I'm very glad to see what would happen after this summer. For Croatia, definitely, tourism is very important, and for them, they're trying to still to be in the green zone and to have a good season, as good as possible.
Yes. I mean, the tourist superpowers like Greece, Italy, Spain, Croatia have the most interest in letting people in if they're secured from COVID-19, for example, by PCR tests or by vaccines. So I think that many people started to think where to go this summer, and some people ask me, what do I suggest? Is Croatia going to be free to enter if you're vaccinated or you have a free green PCR test?
Yes.
And that's what we would like to know in the future for the successful tourism season, even for the Serbs, because we would like to go somewhere to the summer holiday.
Yes, we will see, Žikica. So I don't know, the people, especially they're working in tourism, they are very aware of the new kind of virus. So we will see in the next months. So what would happen, you know, in this field? But I can say really too that the last summer was a very successful touristical season, especially in Istria, and so many people from Serbia also visited this part of Croatia, especially in Istria and Primorsko-Goranska Županija.
Yes, so, it was amazing. It was really,
yes,
really
it was
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Davor, that would be pretty much everything for this issue of Diplomacy Talks. We had as a first guest Davor Trkulja from the Serbian embassy in Zagreb in Croatia, and now I've actually couple of minutes before our conversation, I talked to a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, Krešimir Golubić, who's going to appear in the new issue of Diplomacy&Commerce. He's a graffiti artist and stencil artist, and he says that Zagreb is in pretty bad situation, pretty bad shape after the earthquake in Zagreb that happened last spring, and that everybody in the center are coping with the destruction and consequences of the earthquake. So I hope, I wish everybody in Zagreb, including you and the citizens of Zagreb and in whole Croatia, to cope well with the two devastating things that happened in 2020, 2021, the two earthquakes and the COVID pandemic, and that we will be free to see the shiny and open Zagreb in next very few months. So thank you, and hope to see you in Zagreb this spring or this summer.
Thank you very much to you, Žikica, and all the staff of the Diplomacy and Commerce. So regards from the Embassy of Serbia from Croatia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.